pick your brain though. Who was your big asset to recruiting you? Obviously, there's two offensive line coaches. That's a big selling point for Florida. But who was the main guy that really connected with you that showed you, hey, here's how you're going to fit in this system, and here's how we want to utilize you the best?
To be real, it was Coach DeCosta and Coach Sale.
Okay.
I really couldn't pick one or the other, man. They both did a tremendous job of keeping in contact with me, even though I haven't been on campus as much as I have been at other places. You know, them always hitting me up, texting me, and calling me, even when it seemed like it might have seemed like to them that I might not have been taking them that serious. They always kept showing me how much of a priority I am to them. And I told them, I
Mm,
told Coach DeCosta one time, I think it was back in like January, like, hey, I want to take it. Like, I hope that you know that I have true interest in the University of Florida, and I definitely want to
mhm,
consider coming to school there. I told him that back in January or December or February. It was sometime earlier this year, or very late last year. I told him that, and it was still consistent. Still consistent calling and texting all that. Even before I even told him that, it was always a call or a text away. So
Cool.
that
I
communication
I
between
think
us definitely kept it like, what's up?
yeah. I think you said something that was important, there for me, is you said you've been to other campuses more than the University of Florida, and you still, chose us out of the schools that you've been to. So I think that just speaks to, like you said, the people that are there, and it didn't take you, long to realize that, hey, it's a genuine vibe there. And just you expressing to the coaches like, hey, I want to take this process serious. I'm very interested in your school. Don't scratch me off your board, but just let me take
Yeah,
my time and digest everything. But I'm still interested. I think that was dope.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, too cool. And I love hearing just that communication from the offensive line coach and both coaches doing their part to making sure that you feel important. I do want to talk to you about how they showed how you would fit into the system, right? Again, with having two offensive line coaches, I think, and this is something that I've bragged about them, about their development, I think has been phenomenal. They're going into this year with one of the top offensive linemen in the SEC and all of college football. And a lot of that goes to the development of Rob Sale and Acosta over the last couple of years. I imagine
Mm.
that was part of a selling point for you. But how did they say, "Hey, here's how you're going to fit. Here's how we want"? Did they compare you to somebody's game on the line currently?
Currently, I'm not 100% sure, but I know Coach Sale compared me to Tyrus. I forgot his last
Okay,
name, or
Osiris
maybe
Torrance.
that's
That's a
Yeah,
hell of a
yeah,
compliment.
Cyrus
mhm.
Torrance.
Okay,
My
Oh
fault.
yeah,
Yes, sir, but he definitely compared me to him when he was still over there at Louisiana Lafayette. I'm pretty sure. Um, but guys like him that could just move guys, just powerful guys. That's who Coach Sale and Coach DeCosta definitely want me to be, and playing space as well.
well, guys, if we were talking Osiris Torrance last night about some guys that Billy and the boys have put into the NFL, and Osiris has been an absolute dog in the
yeah,
NFL. So if
yeah.
you
Mm.
can be compared to somebody like that who also earned himself a brick, I think you're in good company in Florida. We're also in good hands. That Mr. Sale thinks that Mr. Green can be that and then some. Because Osiris was a 3-star. You're a 4-star. So you're already in a sense coming in at a higher prospect than what Torrance was, and we saw what he ended up being. Steve.
Right.
Yeah, no, I saw the video and squatting, and you said they consider you a power guy that can just move people. What are your metrics? What are you squatting and benching, if you don't mind?
I think I squat around like 570, bench
Mm,
350. My
okay,
last power clean was 295, if I'm not mistaken. And we
awesome.
don't do deadlift, so that's my numbers. That's like my main numbers.
That's about where
Okay,
I'm
cool.
at. Steve probably can't keep up with that, but uh, coming down to the wire, what were I know you had your final four. Was it closer than it appeared to be, or did Florida really kind of pull away at the end there? Or was it touch and go of where you want it to be? Who was kind of that other school that hey made me feel like very well, but Florida just really pulled it out at the end? If you can say
Um,
that, if you don't want to, you don't have to. I know it's
yeah, I don't want to get like too into specifics. I don't want to do no type of like sleep dissing or nothing.
Yeah.
But it was definitely even, like very even with another school, another
cool.
SEC school. Um, yeah, but it really just came down to like thinking about every little thing possible. Like, which school would I feel like I would be the happiest at?
Hmm.
Which school do I feel like
Mhm.
I trust the coaches with my future is the most possible. What school do I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, the education is going to prepare me for life as well. Things like that. And, like the biggest thing to me definitely was like, what school am I going to be the happiest at? Because I can, walk into a building, everything be all gray and black on the inside, and there's no life. That's all it is.
Mm,
But like color definitely has an effect on the human mind. Like if you see something red, you're always gonna think like red is like the color of anger. If you see
mm-hmm.
something like white, you're gonna think white is like a pure color. Like no,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm trying to find the words to explain it, but you get what I mean though.
Yeah, yeah.
If you see like the color black, like the absence of all color, like there's nothing there. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like bright colors definitely get your mind like in a more
Orange and blue.
positive place.
Yeah,
Exactly.
energetic
My
with
point
the
is that.
orange and all that. That's good
Mm-hmm.
that you think about that type of stuff because most people don't take in the psyche of colors and what it do to different people when you're looking at it all day. So
Yeah, you're
that's
gonna be
big.
there every day.
That's why.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, you got
you're
to
gonna
be
live
there
in that
every
world.
day. You gonna look at it every day. So that orange and blue definitely carries energetic vibe to it. It brings a lot of excitement. So that's cool that you thought about that.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Who's somebody that you mimic your game after now that you look up to that inspires you? Maybe it's in college football or also the NFL.
Quinn Miners from the Broncos. That's definitely a guy I want to
Right.
play like. He's just small school guy, so he got something to prove in the NFL. He just mauls guys. Like you're not up in front of him, you're gonna get moved. Just know if fans are but about it. Like he gonna move you regardless, no matter what. That's the kind of guy that I want to play like.
I love it. Now I know when you guys go on these trips and these official visits, they typically pair you up with somebody. Uh, who was that you were paired up with? Like I don't know what they call him, a chaperone, I guess.
Host,
Um,
host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
host. Who hosted
yeah. I
you?
was with Bryce Lovett.
Okay,
Okay.
right tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's geared
Yes,
up to be this year.
yes, sir.
So that's what they're looking at as they're looking tackle for you, guard, or was that kind of like a little bit of both?
Now I think they're gonna have me interior, but I mean, I'm ready to play. Wherever they want me, but they probably gonna have me in one of the interior spots.
How was it with Bryce? What were some things that he said that you liked that kind of intrigued you and interest you, and also maybe kind of whoa, that was cool to hear.
Well, he wasn't really trying to like sell me on nothing, man. I just asked him like, how genuine is a coach? How genuine is
Mm-hmm.
Coach Sale, Coach DeCosta, and Coach Napier and whatnot? And he told me the truth about all of them. And it was he. One thing I learned like don't ask. Well, I wouldn't say don't ask, but like always ask the players because they won't give you like the truest, most honest opinion.
They do or
And
don't.
they do,
Okay.
they do. And like I didn't just ask Bryce, I asked a bunch of other guys like Najee, Caden Rod, um, who else? Yo, well, those are three names that really came to mind first. But I always heard like good things from them about Coach Napier, Coach DeCosta, Coach Sale. Um, and even well, and this is kind of getting sidetracked, but like my coach, my head coach here at Timberline High School, Greg Wright, he was roommates with I'm pretty sure he was roommates with the defensive coordinator over there at Oregon, Coach Chris Hampton. And he even vouched for Coach Sale, saying like, Coach Sale, he's a good coach. He'll coach you hard, but he'll love you just as hard, and he's fair. So like things like that. If you got a coach from across the country, vouching for a coach down here in Florida, that's definitely gonna say
Yeah.
something to me that this is a good coach. This is a guy that really means what he's about, and other coaches across the country are seeing that as well.
When it comes to you said you're inside. Do you have a preference as far as what side, left side, right side, um, that you like to play?
Well, I've been playing the left side, probably like my whole life. So I say I'm more used to the left side, but if I need to make that switch to the right side, I'm more than open to doing that.
That's
Sweet.
something I think Billy and the guys they've been
Yep.
adamant about is looking for versatility, guys that are willing to play everywhere and do what it takes. And that seems to be the narrative. And something you just kind of spoke to about speaking to all the players and kind of having a consensus of, yeah, the coaches are all in. They all love us. I've been preaching that too. When we interview players, whether it's recruits, whether it's guys that are currently on the team, there seems to be just a consensus amongst everybody, which again kind of shows the purity of the program where it's at currently, because you can't puppeteer 50 plus guys, right? It has to be
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
organic, natural thing that genuinely transcends across the football team. And we're seeing it even with the recruit like yourself, which is just incredible. And again, it speaks volumes to what Florida's doing and the type of young men they're going after. It's always so fun to get to interview you guys and just get another pulse of this team and where it's headed. And man, it's just one of those levels. I've talked about it before with NIL and these opportunities to do these interviews, that it's taken the game to a whole nother level of the appreciation,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're not just a number anymore. You're Desmond Green, where we all sat around for an hour watching your commitment, which we'll talk about in a minute. And look, that's kind of how it starts. Like, and all great relationships have their kind of funny moments, and then it grows into where we're like we're bleeding right there alongside you as one of our own. And man, it's awesome. It's cool to hear just this, you talk about your whole experience so far.